Welcome to the Currency of Knowledge, a County National Bank wealth management podcast, the podcast where we unravel the layers of prosperity, explore the diverse meanings of wealth, and delve into the stories of those who have built their own versions of abundance. I'm your co-host, Christopher Phillips.
And I'm Holly Baker. Join us on this insightful journey as we redefine wealth beyond the balance sheets and uncover the true riches that life has to offer. Let's explore the essence of wealth in all its forms. Welcome, Christopher.
It's great to be back. New studio.
Yes.
New studio. We're in our Hillsdale studio.
Notice it's bigger.
Yeah, it is. It's slightly bigger. So
I'm not going to say anything because I feel like Tecumseh should be the biggest, but that's okay.
yeah,
It's a very nice studio.
it will always be the first. It will always be the first.
It's true. First is usually with us.
Yeah.
And it's been a while that we've sat down together because I hosted a few without you.
I had to take some time off.
You took some time off, and then you were actually being the executive vice president of wealth management. I don't know what gives a busy job.
I appreciate you taking on the lead of the Currency of Knowledge.
I took on the burden.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So this episode, we're going to sit down with Rann Painter. He's the president and CEO of the Michigan Bankers Association.
Yeah.
It'll be great to hear what he has to say about trends and how he got into it.
Yeah. I think the work that the Bankers Association does for us, not only for the banks, but for all the consumers of the bank, is really important because it keeps us in top of mind. The legislature top of mind as they, put new regulation upon us or want to change a benefit or, structure the program a certain way. So, one of the works that, I hope we talk about today is that the work that the Michigan Bankers Association did in getting in Michigan, in order to graduate with a Michigan high school degree, you have to have a financial literacy class.
That's great.
And second, this 2025 was the first class that was required in. And I know they're responsible for getting that through the legislature and onto Governor Whitmer's desk to sign.
That's great. I think one thing that maybe most people don't know, probably even maybe to some extent in the banking association, people don't know in the banking industry, is that the MBA isn't just for the banks, that they are actually out there advocating for the consumer.
Sure.
Which is shown obviously in what you need to do to graduate from high school.
Yeah.
So it's a great organization.
Yeah, looking forward to the conversation.
Welcome to the Currency of Knowledge. Today we have the opportunity to sit down with Rann Painter. He is the president and CEO of the Michigan Bankers Association. You became president in 2020, is that correct? About that time?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking
I
you
just
would
finished
start.
10 years.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
great. And you're not from Michigan, are you?
North Carolina native.
Oh, nice.
Eastern North Carolina,
Okay,
yes.
where in North Carolina?
Warrenton, it's about an hour north of Raleigh. Small town.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
what brought you to Michigan then?
To be here at the Michigan Bankers
Okay.
Association.
And do
for
you like
this.
it?
I do.
Obviously, you like
Yeah.
what you do, but comparing North Carolina to Michigan.
I don't miss the humidity, although we've had a hot summer. But
Yeah.
I do not
we
miss
have.
the humidity.
What about the winters?
If you've got a heated steering wheel and a good pair of boots, I find you can pretty much make it work.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That
It
heating
is.
steering wheel is a deal.
It's key.
It's a change maker.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a game
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
my wife likes to have hers on even in the summertime,
Yes.
Okay.
which
Is
I
that
think
not-
is unnecessary.
Right.
I mean, that's why you
It's all
have
very
it
personal.
That's right.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
That's right.
in the seat. Is that not normal?
As I get older, the heated seat
Yeah.
helps in the back.
Yeah. And the cold seat in the summer is
Yeah,
nice
for
as
sure.
well.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can make do in the Michigan winter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, Michigan's been great.
Yeah.
Good.
Really enjoy it.
Good.
Wonderful people.
What path did you follow to get to the position you're in today?
So that's an interesting question. I went to a small school in North Carolina, Pfeiffer College, now Pfeiffer University, and our basketball team went to the NAIA championship, and I lived on the basketball hall, which was certainly an error in housing. But we went to the championship, and if Michigan or Michigan State goes to NCAA, there are airplanes full of people, the chartered airplanes to
Right.
go. Well, I went with my next door neighbor on the hall and 2 other people in a 2-door car, 19 hours to Kansas City. There were 2 alum there, not 2 airplanes full of
Okay.
alums, but 2 alums. And one ran the Savings and Loan League and became a mentor. And so I sold life insurance for 3 years right out of college and then went to work for the North Carolina Bankers. And so but it's all because I went to a basketball game.
Wow. Okay. What did you go to school for? Let me ask you that.
Great question. Really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Majored in business with minors in economics and political science. I had to think about that. I hadn't been asked that in a long time. But kind of thought I wanted to go into banking, which is interesting because I serve bankers but have never been a banker myself. So,
Do you think you want to try it?
do I want to try? Yeah, that's a great. No one's asked me that in a long time, Holly.
Spend a day in our shoes.
That might be the next gig. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. Should I
Just
leave
make
my
it
resume?
full. Yes,
Yeah,
please
okay.
do.
Absolutely.
Wealth management's the way to go.
Okay, there you go. Absolutely.
So, the MBA represents not only community banks like County National Bank, but all banks in Michigan.
Right.
Banking across the world has changed,
Sure.
even
Ever
in
changing.
the 15 years that you've been in your seat. So, what kind of projects are the Michigan Banker Association working on?
Sure. Well, it's ever changing, right? So it doesn't get boring. There are different products and services, and just thinking about how even online banking has changed in the last 10 years or the last 20 years. One of the things that we've been working on just passed the Senate on Friday are trigger leads. If you apply for a mortgage or a loan, the credit bureaus have, in recent years, sold those leads. So they apply. I apply for a mortgage at your bank, and then I get all these texts and emails and phone calls from other institutions.
Hundreds.
Yes, and so that's been one of the things to eliminate that harassment, so to speak. I don't know if that's the proper word.
Well, it certainly
feels like it.
It feels
doesn't
like it when you're getting all the texts.
Absolutely.
And the thing that's interesting about it is that it feels slightly deceptive. Because they act like they're an agent of the bank or something of that sort, so that people are
absolutely
interested in learning more about what this is. So it is tricky. So that's good. That's good work.
Just constantly monitoring legislation, both at the state and the federal level, to ensure that that positive legislation comes through as much as we can influence that or encourage votes for, and discourage legislation that would be harmful to the bank's customers and to the industry.
Yeah. It's one of the most regulated industries.
Certainly.
So it's the work that the MBA does, the work that you do is vitally important to represent not only the banks, but the consumers of the bank.
Well, thank you. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have a very safe and sound banking industry, but you want to have regulation that is not so obtrusive as to prevent good lending practices and serving the customer.
For sure. And we'll be right back.
At County National Bank, we believe in the power of personalized service. Whether you're saving for a rainy day or planning a major purchase, we offer a range of deposit accounts and loans tailored to your needs. Our dedicated retail banking team is committed to providing exceptional service, helping you navigate your financial journey with confidence. With convenient in-person branch locations and digital banking options, managing your finances at CNB has never been simpler.
Rann, how many employees are at the Michigan Bankers Association?
We have 11 people on our team.
Okay, and how many banks do you all serve?
We serve 98
Okay, so that's
members across the state.
Big bank to employee ratio.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys are efficient.
We certainly try to be.
Yeah, I've got to attend several events that the MBA's put on, and they're always done so well.
Thank you.
Great speakers.
Thank you.
We attend the Midwest Trust Conference.
Sure.
Every year, and the work that goes into it and the dedication of the team to put that on is really beneficial to us all.
Thank you. They do a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
They work very hard
Yeah.
on behalf of the industry.
There
Thank you for that. Those compliments.
Is there maybe a trend or something that you're seeing going forward, especially as we look at things, sadly, it's fraud or even not sadly, but crypto that you're tracking?
Well, absolutely. Again, the industry is ever changing. Unfortunately, fraud is something that continues to rear its head.
Yeah.
And, we're not in the days, thankfully, of the Wild West and bank robberies the way they used to be. Although we have seen an uptick in robberies this year in our state, two of which were really tough. But more often than not, the robbery is coming in the form of fraud.
Yeah.
And that's becoming ever more prevalent. And technology is such that it makes it more difficult sometimes for the frontline teams to recognize that. So it takes a lot of vigilance on everybody's part to protect the institution there. You mentioned crypto and stablecoin. That's brand new. My knowledge on that is not as deep as I'd like for it to be, but that's coming, and we want to be sure that as that develops, that we recognize the importance of maintaining stable deposits in the banking sector, because if those funds were to leave deposit accounts, then that reduces the lending ability of all banks, right?
Yeah.
So maybe just a little background for some listeners who aren't familiar with stablecoin.
Okay.
Congress just passed the Genesis Act that the president signed into law that allows for digital currency that is called stablecoin. That makes it real-time transfer capabilities and that sort of thing. I'm sure other things that I'm not explaining well. But what it does is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Rann, but
I think your knowledge is deeper than mine.
okay. The banks will now be able to offer stablecoin, but banks will have to set aside dollars on deposit for that. They can use U.S. Treasuries to do that sort of thing. But there is some concern among the industry that community banks could be hurt by this development, because what Rann was alluding to is that it could take deposits and put those into other, larger depositories, which as a community banker, the work that we do in the communities in terms of taking in deposits, lending them out so that we can keep the local economy running by giving loans to business so they can spur on economic growth is important. So that the stablecoin and the Genesis Act is a slight concern. Now, as you said, banking has changed for years and years and years. So we will figure this out.
Of course.
It will just take us maybe a little bit of time to do that.
Well, you have to adapt to the needs of the consumer.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're in a new administration, new regulatory environment, which changes certainly every 4 years, but in some instances every 2. And so, we're just
sometimes every month.
That's right. We're just getting into that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure there'll be more development.
Absolutely.
And many people will start hearing about stablecoin if they haven't. And I know our core provider, which is just for, again, our listeners who aren't in banking, that's the sort of housing of all of our data and client information in terms of accounts and that sort of thing. Our provider is working on a solution for stablecoin already. So it's things that people react to.
It's moving along.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So sorry to take away, but I just wanted to help people understand.
That was great. Thank you.
Stablecoin a little bit. What else is going on at the MBA?
Education and training is a big part of what we do, and you mentioned the Midwest Trust Conference, which your bank participates in, and thank you for being such big supporters there. That conference is coming up in October. Our Bank Management and Directors Conference is coming up right on the heels of that, the first week in November, which is our second largest conference of the year. So we'll have our banking leadership at that meeting in Detroit in early November. So we're looking forward to that. So we'll be announcing that conference probably within the next 30 days. But before that, we'll be in Lansing on September 16th for Banker Day, when bankers come to spend time with elected leaders in Lansing at state level to talk about issues that are pertinent to them and things that are going on in their communities.
Yeah, great. So busy fall.
Yeah, well, it is a busy fall, and Christopher, actually, there are not a lot of lulls in the year. At the end of the day, we're building relationships and educating people, very much like what you're doing in your wealth management and at the bank, because elected officials, typically there are not a ton of them who are bankers or have a banking background. And so it's imperative for us to ensure that bankers from County National and other banks can sit down with elected officials to share what potential changes in law would mean to their constituents.
Right.
Because sometimes there's very clear recognition of what a change might make or how that might impact. And sometimes it's not so clear.
Right.
And their negative consequences.
Sure.
So spending that time together is important.
Yeah, so you've got kind of, you're educating bankers on the trends going on. You also have, programs for young leaders inside banking coming up, and then you've got to educate the people making decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But we've got a great team, and thankfully with our board of directors and volunteer bankers from across the state, we have a lot of support in getting that done.
So I imagine that you spend a lot of your time on the road.
I do.
So how often are you actually your MBA's office is in Lansing,
Right.
So how often are you in Lansing versus everywhere else in the state?
That's a great question, and it varies week to week. Typically, I'm on the road at least 40% of the time.
Wow,
So
That's a lot.
that gets
it's a
tiring.
lot. But it's also energizing when you're spending time with the people you serve to recognize what's going on in their communities and how that's affecting their business, so that we can bring that back to the office and share that with my peers across the country as to what's happening in their states as well.
Yeah. What would you think is the biggest challenge banking in Michigan has to face in the years coming up?
That's a great question. I think there are a number of them, and I'm not sure how to rank them, Christopher and Holly, but certainly the economic health of the state is important to banking. I mean, the bank is as healthy as the community it serves, so ensuring that we have a positive business environment for existing and new businesses in the state. Housing has been a challenge in both urban and rural communities. So ensuring that we have adequate quality housing for not only our customers, but our employees,
Right.
Is important. And continuing to educate young people and others about the opportunities in banking. There's so many different roles, from cybersecurity to wealth management to lending to all kind of marketing.
There's a spot for everyone.
There's so many different opportunities, and banking. Sometimes when I say this, it feels like it sounds hokey, but it's not. It is such a noble career because you're helping people recognize their dreams, whether it's buying their first home or their first automobile, or funding a college education, expanding a business. When you leave here today and go to your homes, you know your market share, and if it's 40% or 60% or whatever it is, basically every other house you pass or every other business you pass, the employees of your bank have affected the people within that building.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
to impact the lives of your neighbors.
Yeah. When I worked at a different organization, I called upon a prospect, and he said, I really like you, and I would love to do some business with you. He said, but I'm not going to, because in 1952, I almost lost the dairy, and the bank that he was at partnered with him, and that's the word that he used, partner with me to get my business back running.
That's awesome. That's a
and
great
he
story.
said, so I am committed. But we have these stories. All banks have these stories.
Of course.
And they're great stories because, it is what you just said. It is noble when you partner. And that's one of the reasons that I love working at County National Bank. I've heard lenders say in committee meetings, I know the financials don't look like the story I'm telling you, but I totally have faith in this this borrower, and while we can make this exception, it's whatever to get this deal done, and the people respond to that.
Well, they do respond to that, and it's impactful what how people have been affected. And the influence that you have. I mean, my deposit relationship is with a bank that I've banked with since I was a kid. And quick story, I had an autograph from Catfish Hunter, baseball player. And for some reason, I thought it needed to be in the safety deposit box. And I was like, I don't know, 10 years old or something. Why I thought it needed to be in the safety deposit box, I don't know. But small town, 2 banks. The bank wouldn't let me. I was not old enough. They wouldn't give me a safety deposit box. So I went down the street. They gave me a safety deposit box. 45 years later, my checking account is still there.
Did you sell that safe deposit box?
I don't, but I still have that autograph. If you know anyone who wants to buy it, I can probably sell it.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
I think I've got it. I think it's in the basement tackle box.
I met with a client today, and I said, I thanked her for her commitment to us, and she said, I think she's 81. She said, I've been banking here since I was 13.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
I mean, it's a big deal. We can create loyalty, and we do create loyalty all these times.
Absolutely.
We hope we earn that loyalty, really. So I think that's fantastic. Well, one question that we always ask everyone before we wrap up the podcast is the question that we think is most interesting for us. As wealth managers, we want to know what wealth means so that we can manage it for you particularly. So what does wealth mean to Rann?
That's a great question. And interestingly, I was with some friends yesterday, and one said about the other, I always thought that I would marry for money, but I married for love. And their spouse said, I thought you were wealthy because you had 2 cars and were single, and so I thought that was really funny. And we talked about that for a while, knowing that question was going to be asked today. And then I asked my team that question this morning, and the answers were really not money related at all.
Right.
Your good name, your reputation, having good health, and family and friends who are supportive of you, living in a safe space, having the necessities of life, being happy, all these things are part of it. But then when you think about the financial aspect, for me, it's having enough money to ensure that needs are met without worry. That you're not losing sleep at the end of the month.
Peace of mind.
There's, my mom used to have this saying that said, how come there's so much month left at the end of the money? Not having that worry or to have to answer that question, and having enough to share, to help others in some way, whether it's the church or your alma mater or the United Way or the Royalton Club or what have you.
Yeah, great. Love it. We've met with, I don't know how many episodes have we had Probably 50.
Yeah.
This year, maybe this could be a milestone moment. This could be our 50th episode. I'm not sure, but pretty close to that. And what we've learned is that those themes of security and charity and community keep coming back. And you mentioned all of those. So love that definition.
Well, thanks for saying that. And, it's interesting. As part of financial literacy, we read to third graders this spring. And I cannot remember the name of the book right now, but it talked about earning money and needs and wants and saving and whatnot. And it was interesting when there were a couple pages on sharing the responses from the kids and helping others. It was really inspiring.
Yeah. So if we could all just live with those sort of things leading us, then we'd be a good place to be.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you, Rann, very much for making the trip down all the way from Lansing to Hillsdale, Michigan.
It's great to be in Hillsdale with both of you today. Thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful.
Securities and insurance products are not FDIC insured, not being guaranteed, subject to investment risk, may lose value.